Okay, good morning. Welcome to Strength and Balance. Just so everybody knows, we're going to go at our own pace today. So if you need to take a break throughout the class, please do so. If you need to take a water break at any time, please do so. If I say a number, a certain amount of repetitions of something, and that's too many for you, you can do less. If it's too few for you, you can do more. So kind of take today's class and make it your own. And let's rock and roll. So I'm going to start the music, and we're going to start up on our feet. We're going to start up on our feet, big arm circles left and right. We want to try to spread the fingers at the top, wake up the body. If you were with me on Tuesday's class, we did a little bit more cardio, a little bit more up on our feet. Today we're going to do a little bit more on the floor, on the mat work. One more each side. Then we are going to take those arms and come forward. Same thing, try to focus on that full range of motion. One more each side. Then let's twist across. So we're going to pivot on that right toe, or left toe, and then reach across, move the hips towards the wall that we are reaching towards. And then the opposite side. Keep the core nice and tight. So we're not leaning. We want to stay up tall and just reach. One more each side, then both arms across. Make sure we're moving through the hips, reaching with both arms. Try to get that full range of motion. One more each side, then arms overhead. We're really reaching, so when we reach, try to reach all the way from the fingertips. You can't see the top of my hand. Try to reach from the fingertips all the way down the side of the body and onto that same toe. One more each side, then both arms overhead. And let's take a deep breath in through the nose. Exhale out through the mouth. Two more. Last one. Then take those shoulders and roll them back. Up, forward, around, and back. Try to get as much range of motion that you can. I can never stay in one place. I'm always wandering, but try to stay in one spot. Press through both heels evenly. We want a nice, strong, solid stance. Last time down and back, hold them down, take your head and look to the right and to the left. Loosen up the neck. One more each side. Then we are going to take those arms all the way around. So we're going to take your left arm, bring it across the body. Again, don't forget to pivot on that toe. Then the right arm across, and the left arm overhead, and the right arm overhead. So across, across, overhead, overhead. Really feel that twisting through the torso. Try to finish that full range of motion, that full extension on every single exercise, every single move. Last time through, and 2 above. Now we're going to bring your heels to your butt. So we're going to stabilize here on that left leg. Bring the right heel to your butt. Down, then the other side, and down. So we can pick it up or stay a little bit slower, whatever you need. Hips stay square. And then if you'd like to add the arms, you can drive the elbows back and try to squeeze the shoulder blades together. One more each side. Now heels to the front. Alternate driving a heel to the front. Abdomen is nice and tight. Pressing through your heels. The back heel. Do one more per side, and then tap the toes back. So we're staying up nice and tall. I'd like you to keep that nice straight line from your standing ankle, knee, hip, shoulder, and ear. Don't forget about that posture, shoulders down and back. Let's do one more each side. And now stabilize on that right foot. Soft, natural bend in that right knee. Heel and toe on the left. So you're bringing that left heel forward and the toes back. Heel forward, toes back. So here we're keeping that nice straight line from that standing leg all the way up. So that standing ankle, knee, hip, shoulder, and ear. And that opposite leg is coming heel forward, toes back. So we're balancing here, keeping that core nice and tight. Last one. Let's switch to the other side. So now stabilize on that left foot, heel and toe on the right. Keeping that core tight, we want to pull the belly button in towards the spine. Really squeeze that midsection. Don't forget about the back. So shoulders are down. We want to squeeze the lats, which are the big long muscles down the side of your back. Let's do one more. And release. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Exhale out through your mouth. 2 more. And last one. we are going to come on down onto the floor. So come on down onto the floor. We're starting off in your child's pose. So on your stomach, hips over heels. So come on down, hips over heels, arms are far in front, and we are holding here. From here, we are going to come up to that tabletop position for your cat-cow. So tuck your chin, tuck the tail around the back, and then slowly sway that back. So alternate between the two moves. Try to get as much flexion that you can. Warm up the spine. And you can release. Now from here, we are going to roll on over to your right side. On your right, I would like you to please bend the knees. Feet are stacked, so feet are on top of each other. Hips are square, shoulders are square. I like to keep my left hand on the ground to help keep my hips and shoulders square. Abdomen is tight. And now we are going to go right into your clam shell. So you're going to lift that left knee up and then slowly lower down. So what you don't want to do is roll back. We just want to move from the hip, keep everything steady, and just move that knee up and come back on down. We're going to shoot for 10. When you finish 10, please extend both legs long and flex your feet. Then we are going to do 10 lateral leg lifts. So rather than bringing the knee up, we're going to bring that whole foot up, or that whole leg up, and then come back down. We're going to shoot for 10. Now flex your feet, press out through the heel. Try to push the heel up towards the ceiling. So when you turn your foot, the heel's up towards the ceiling and the toes turn down towards the floor slightly as you flex that foot. And you can release when you finish your 10. We're going to roll on over to the left side now. So on the opposite side, same thing. We'll start off with those clam shells. Bend the knees, abdomen is tight, hips are square, shoulders are square. We're going to shoot for about 10, lifting that knee up and bringing it back down. Keep that core tight. When you finish your 10, we're going to go right into those lateral leg lifts. So extend both legs long, flex the feet, press out through the heel, toes are pointed towards the floor, turn that big toe down towards the floor and press that heel up towards the ceiling for about 10. When you finish 10 and 10, you can roll back onto your stomach and back into that child's pose. Hips back over heels. And from here, we are going to come on up to that tabletop position. So wrist is in line with shoulder, knees in line with hips. Tuck the toes. From here, we are going to go right into your hydrant. So keeping the shoulders down, squeeze the lats. We are going to lift that left knee up to the side without rotating through the hip, and then come back on down. Up and down. We are going to shoot for about 10. When you finish 10, you can go right into 10 on the opposite side. When you finish 10 on both sides, you can push back into child's pose. And then we are going to roll on over to your back. On your back, the arms will stay long, abdomen will be nice and tight, a nice strong pelvic tilt. From here, I would like you to extend both legs long. Both legs long. So press that low back down towards the floor. Then when you're ready here, we're going to flex that left foot and lift that left leg up as high as you can. Then point the toes and slowly come back down without letting that foot touch the floor. So we're gonna leave that foot elevated right off the floor. So flex up and point down. We're going to do about 10 here. This is 3. Make sure you are breathing. And keep that core nice and tight. When you finish 10 on the left, same thing on the right. I don't know if you can hear my dogs barking. Maybe the mailman. When you finish 10 on both sides, you can bend both knees, pull both knees in towards your chest, rock side to side, relax that low back here for a second. And return those feet down to the floor. Let's Practice a few pelvic tilts. So from here, we are going to press that low back down to the floor. Pubic bone comes up towards your heart, and then release. Let's shoot for about 10. Really try to exaggerate this movement. And hold your pelvic tilt when you hit the 10th one. Then holding that pelvic tilt, pressing that low back down, we're going to lift your hips up nice and high into that bridge. So lift up, let's pause at the top. So from here we are holding that pelvic tilt. We want to lift the hips up as high as we can. We don't want to arch that back, but it's not going to be arched if we're holding that strong pelvic tilt. We're pressing through both heels evenly, but we're not lifting the toes up. Our toes are staying down, and we're utilizing the toes as well. So we're using that whole foot. However, we're pressing through that heel, squeezing the glutes, pressing through the hamstrings, relaxing the head and neck and shoulders, and then slowly lower down. Really control that decline. So exhale up, squeeze at the top, and then slowly lower down. We're going to do about 10. That was 2. Make sure you squeeze at the top. When you finish, you can bring your arms out at the side. Drop the knees to the right and then over to the left. We're dropping the knees from right to left. And as we do so, we are also moving our head in the opposite direction of the knees. So when my knees are to the left, my head looks to the right. Let's pause at the center. We are going to do the same thing one more time. So back to that bridge. This time we are going to cross your arms over your chest. So this is going to make it a little bit harder. If you find it's too hard for you, you can place your hands back down on the floor. So a strong pelvic tilt. Exhale up and squeeze. Then inhale down. Another 10 if you can. When you finish your 10, you can extend both arms long and drop the knees side to side, moving the head in the opposite direction of the knees again. And back to center. Now we are going to lift your legs up off the floor. So the feet are off the floor. We are going to flex our feet. Abdomen is nice and tight. I'm going to have you start off keeping your arms long by your side, strong pelvic tilt. Knees are bent at about 90 degrees, so make sure the legs aren't just flopping. We want to keep tension in the legs, knees bent at about 90 degrees, and flex your feet so the toes are pulled back towards the shins. From here, we are going to alternate, dropping the heel down to the floor and up, then the opposite side. Holding that strong pelvic tilt. About 10 per side. That's 4 and 4. When you finish 10 and 10, you can hug both knees in, rock side to side again. Place your fingertips on top of your knees and circle the knees and hips in one direction. And then come in the opposite direction and circle. And release, hug them in, and return the feet back down to the floor. So now we are going to extend both arms up, spread your fingertips, lift both legs up off the floor, flex your feet, same thing. So option 1, we are going to go into that dying bug. So option 1, you can either leave your arms here, sinking the shoulder blades down towards the floor and alternate the heels, or bring the opposite arm back and that heel down to the floor. We're going to shoot for about 10 per side. Make sure you hold that nice strong pelvic tilt. If you start to feel this in your low back, I'd like you to pause for a second, recommit to your pelvic tilt, and then try again. When you finish 10 per side, you can pull both knees in and just rock side to side. We are going to come back to your bridges, this time with a nice wide stance. So return your feet to the floor and open your feet wider than your hips. So from here, we want to make sure that when you lift up, the knees don't come in together or go too wide. So the same distance that's between the heels and ankles, same distance between the knees. So strong pelvic tilt, again, pressing through the heels, but keeping the toes down. Try to spread the toes. Exhale, lift up, squeeze the butt. So a little external rotation on the knees, so you really feel it in the glutes. and then slowly come back down. We're going to shoot for 10. When you finish 10, you can bring your feet back in to that neutral position. Settle into this position here. Relax the shoulders down, sink down into the floor. Then when you're comfortable in this position, we are going to take that right ankle, place it on top of left knee. Let that right knee fall to the side, open up the hip. Now, keeping the hips square, shoulders square, we are going to press through that left heel and lift your hips up into that single leg bridge. And then slowly come back on down. We're going to shoot for about 10. Make sure you hold that pelvic tilt. And make sure you keep breathing. When you finish, you can switch, so uncross, settle into the floor first, then take that left ankle, place it on top of right knee, let the left knee fall open to the left, pressing through that right heel, hips and shoulders are square, lift up, squeeze, and then slowly come back on down. About 10 on this side as well. When you finish, you can uncross, pull both knees in together, rock side to side, just relax here. And return your feet down to the floor. One more time with that wide stance bridge. So open up your feet, pelvic tilt. Exhale, lift the hips up, squeeze your butt at the top. Then slowly lower down. Keeping your core nice and tight, squeeze the butt at the top. Make sure you're pressing through both feet evenly. When you finish 10, you can release, pull both knees in, just rock side to side. And when you're ready, we are going to roll back over to your stomach. So take your time. We're going to start off in that child's pose. So push your hips back over your heels. and come on up. Hands and knees. From hands and knees, we are going to go right into that bird dog. So your right arm is going to be forward, left leg will be back. We are going to hold this bird dog for 30 seconds. So right arm forward, left leg back, and hold. So we want that right palm to be turned in. Flex that left foot. Hips and shoulders are square. Make sure the shoulders are down. We want to squeeze the lats. That stationary wrist, so the left wrist, that hand that is on the floor, that wrist needs to be in line with that same shoulder. Make sure you are breathing slow and controlled. And release. Right away, the opposite side. So left hand is forward, right leg is back, left palm is face in, shoulders are down. We are pressing out through that right heel. Hips and shoulders are square. Pull that belly button up towards your spine. And you can release. Push back into your child's pose. Walk those hands forward. Take a second here. And we are going to come back on up. Now right into that dynamic bird dog. So your choice is either to stay with that static hold if that was difficult for you and hold it the whole time, or we are going into that moving bird dog. So right arm forward, left leg back, just like we did. Get into that perfect position first. And if this is difficult for you, stay here. If you need a little bit more of a challenge, you can bring the elbow and knee into center and then extend long. We're shooting for 10 repetitions. Make sure you finish that full extension, arm all the way long, leg all the way long. When you finish 10 on that side, we can go right into 10 on the opposite side. But hold first, make sure your body is in alignment, make sure you're in that perfect position. And then if you choose to move, we can bring that elbow and knee into center and then extend long. When you finish 10 on each side, you can come on down, press your hips over heels, walk those hands forward, back into that child's pose. And now back on up, we are going to go into your low plank. We are going to hold your low plank for 30 seconds. Forearms are going to be parallel. Your elbow will be in line with your shoulder. External rotation on the hand, so we're just palms face in. We are going to come up on those toes and let's hold. So make sure your butt's not in the air. Make sure you don't have a posterior pelvic tilt. You want to tuck the tail, bring the pubic bone up towards your heart. Shoulders are down, and we want to breathe. And release on down. You can push back into child's pose. then we are going to come on down flat on your stomach. From here, we are going to just lift your chest up. So hips will stay down on the floor. Your options are to either come up on the elbows, down and up, or you can extend to the hands and lift up and down. The key is we have to keep the hips down on the ground and the abdomen nice and tight. So we are going to lift up and come back on down for 10. Now remember, we want to drop the shoulders down. Take your time and pay attention to your range of motion. If you do not get a full range of motion up off the floor, that's okay. Just pay attention to where you need to pause and focus on that form. So you want to make sure the hips stay down on the floor. When you finish 10-ish, we're going to push back into child's pose again. Hold here. And back on down for 30 more seconds of that plank. So again, forearms are parallel, abdomen is nice and tight. We are coming up in 3, 2, 1, and come on up. Again, make sure you are tucking that tail. We don't want to push the booty up. Tuck it, shoulders down. Abdomen is nice and tight. Relax the head, neck, and shoulders. Make sure you keep breathing. We have 10 more seconds. And release. You can push back into child's pose. Push your butt back over heels. And back on down to your stomach. This time your head is going to stay down. And you can either alternate the legs and shoot for about 10 per side, or lift both legs up. That is up to you, whatever is more appropriate. And begin. You can do a combination. Lost my light. Hopefully you can still see me. When you finish about 10 per side or 10, you can push back into child's pose. And one more time through. So back to that low plank. Now, this time I'm going to challenge you. If you have no issues with your shoulders or wrists, we are going to try that high plank. If we do, we are going to come back on down for that low plank. Last time, that high plank, if you choose to do the high plank, the arms are just long and the wrist is in line with your shoulder. 30 seconds, up in 3, 2, 1, and hold. So that high plank, we want to make sure the shoulders are down, wrist is in line with shoulders. We don't want to tilt the tailbone up. We want to tuck it so we feel this right in the abdomen. Pull the belly button up towards your spine. Slow, controlled breath. We have 5 seconds. 4. And you can release on down. Push back into child's pose. And come back on down to your stomach. Last time here. So for this one, for this Superman, we are going to add the upper body and the lower body together. Your 2 options are bringing your right arm up and that left leg up and squeeze. Then come down. Then the left arm, right leg up and squeeze and down. The key is the hips and shoulders must be square. We don't want to rotate. Or bring both arms and legs up and down. We're shooting for your last 10, and let's begin. Again, you can do a combination. And when you finish your 10, you can push on back into child's pose and relax. Extend both arms long. Make sure your head is between the arms. Keep the hands as far forward as you can, so extend the arms long. Then we are going to walk your hands over to the left. Keeping your head between the arms, press your right hand firmly down on the ground, and you should feel that down the right side of your back. And then walk your hands over to the left. Same thing, head is between the arms. And plant your left hand firmly down on the ground. Back to center. Tabletop position, hands and knees, tuck the toes, back to that cat-cow. So arch, tuck your chin, tuck the tail, and then lift the chin and lift the tail. And release on down, come down flat on your stomach and bring your elbows back next to your chest and come up and hold, or you can come up on those hands and hold, but make sure the hips stay down on the ground. And release, push back into child's pose. And back on down, flat on your stomach. Head is down on your hands, and then you can reach back for your right ankle, pull that right heel back towards your butt. Now, if you have a hard time reaching when you are on your stomach, you can roll over to your left side and do this on your side as well. And release. Same thing on the opposite side. So again, one side might be a little tighter. If you're having a hard time, you can roll on the side. You can actually get it from the side and then roll forward if you have the flexibility. and you can release. Take your time, roll over to your back. On your back, just pull the knees into your chest, rock them side to side. Arms out at shoulder height, drop the knees over to the right, take your head and look to the left, and hold. And then bring the knees over to the left, head to the right, and hold. Back to center. Take your right ankle, place it on top of the left knee. Push that right knee away from the body. Then reach behind that left knee, pull the left knee in. Still pushing out on that right knee with that right elbow. And release. Uncross, opposite side. Cross that left ankle over right knee, push that left knee away from the body, then reach behind that right knee and pull the right knee in. And you can release. Return both feet down to the floor. We're going to push yourselves up to a seated position. Sit up nice and tall. Flex your feet. Now, if you need to, you can brace yourself right behind the back. We want to make sure the knees stay down and the feet are flexed. If you can, walk your hands a little bit more forward. And if you can, try to reach all the way along. Try to reach towards the toes. And from here, you're going to drop your chin down to your chest. And release. Place the hands behind your back. We're going to open up that stance just a little bit. And same thing, we're going to walk, actually a lot of it. Open up your stance as wide as you can get the leg. And then walk your hands forward. And if you have the flexibility, remember the toes will be up towards the ceiling. We're going to walk those hands forward and reach your chest as close to the floor as you can get it. Again, legs are long. Make sure the knees don't pop up on the floor. It's better to have the knees down and not be able to come as far forward than the knees lifted, bent a little, and then forward more. So we really want to make sure that the legs stay nice and straight on the floor. Then walk your hands over to the left. Try to reach shoulders square towards that left foot. So however you need to hold is fine. If you need to hold in the center, or if you can walk your hands a little bit more forward, that's fine too. Then walk your hands over to the opposite side. Again, shoulders are square towards that foot. Toes are still pointed up towards the ceiling. And back to center. We're going to release and back on over to hands and knees. Push back into that child's pose and hold. Take a few deep breaths here. And from here, you're going to come up to those hands and knees, and then slowly make your way all the way up to standing. Take your time, come all the way up to standing. You can't really see me because my light died, but that's all right. You can see my silhouette. From here, we're going to just roll the shoulders back. Arms are out at shoulder height. Take your hands, palms up towards the ceiling. Press the thumbs back. Heads up slightly, open up the chest. And release. Extend those arms long, fingertips down, long down towards the floor. Take your head and drop the right ear down to the right shoulder. Make sure that left shoulder doesn't pop up. We really want to pull it down. Now, if you need more of a stretch, you can take that right hand and slightly pull down on the left side of the head. And release. Arms are long, opposite side, left ear, left shoulder. And if you need to increase this stretch, take the left hand and slightly pull down on the right side of the head. And release back to center, roll the shoulders back. Then bring that left arm out long. Take that left arm, bring it across the body, make sure that shoulder's down, and we are going to pull that arm close to the body. So we want to feel this down the back of that shoulder. And release, opposite side, drop the shoulder down, bring that right arm across the body, left arm comes underneath, and pull it in. And release, roll the shoulders back. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Exhale out through your mouth. 2 more. Last one. Good job today. I hope everybody has a great rest of your Thursday.